we've got some new information about the Samsung Galaxy tri-folding phone, also known as the potential Samsung Galaxy G phone that will be out. And some of the information that's come out is very, very interesting. So the first leak of this is coming out from a South Korean news outlet, and they're saying that September 29th in South Korea will be the launch of the Samsung Galaxy tri-folding phone. And now, we know and we've heard that reports of this is that it's initially going to be available only in South Korea and China, and global availability may depend on future demand, meaning that if this sells really well or if it doesn't, that's when we might find out more about this device, meaning it's going to be, hey, you're going to be able to buy it everywhere because we've sold so many in China and South Korea. And September 29th is, at the time of making this video, 27 days away. And I'm very much looking forward to this phone. Beyond that, though, you're also looking at the evidence from trademark filings point to the name as Galaxy Z TriFold, aligning with Samsung's Galaxy Z lineup. So we're looking at this not being the Galaxy G Fold or just the Galaxy TriFold, Galaxy Z tri-folding phone with Samsung's Galaxy Z lineup, with their Z Fold and their Z Flip lineup. The event may also include the reveal of Samsung's XR headset, codenamed Project Muhand, and AI-powered glasses, which, oh man, out of the three of those things, I really, really, really want. I would love all three, don't get me wrong, but I would love to get those AI glasses because I would wear them all the time. I already wear my Meta glasses, and those have a display in them. I would love, love, love to see that. Also, early rumors are pointing out that the price tag will be probably in the ballpark of about $3,000. You're also looking at a almost 10-inch display on there with a 6.5-inch when it's completely folded, which is only a little bit bigger than my Galaxy Z folding phone. And I love this. This could literally be one of the biggest events of the year. You're looking at potentially three devices that are new categories for them. Obviously, we have folding phones, but they don't have a tri-folding phone. So you're looking at new tri-folding phone marker of a product. You're looking at the headset that's going to compete with the Apple Vision Pro, which is an AR, VR, 3D headset to watch movies, use as a monitor for your computer. You could probably, I would assume, hook it up to your phone. It makes sense that they'd want that synchrony all across their platforms. And then you're also looking at the glasses. They don't have glasses yet. This is a huge year for Samsung. They redesigned the Flip a little bit. They redesigned the Fold a lot a bit. And now they're going to have three new also products as well. This is definitely one of the most exciting years to be a Samsung consumer fan, however you look at it. If I had to rank all these products in order, what I want the most, and obviously I've already said I want the 3D, the AI glasses the most, so I'll go with that. I'd get the tri-folding phone second, and it's a really close second to that regular pair of glasses. I could probably live without the glasses, and the tri-folding phone would be cool because I know I would use that also on a daily basis, and probably more so than I would the glasses, because the glasses, I only wear those probably about 75-80% of the time. The phone I'm using all day long. And then the headset, the Muhand headset, which is the Vision Pro headset. It's still really cool, don't get me wrong, but it wouldn't be something I would use all the time. So this is a very interesting story that I wanted to talk about. One of my viewers, Damien, reached out to me because they purchased a Galaxy Z Fold 7 and he wanted to see if he liked it. And he was just about to trade in his S25 Ultra when he realized that he didn't really like the Galaxy Z Fold 7. I didn't actually ask him why he didn't like it, but he just said he didn't really fall in love with it. And he wanted to go back to his S25 Ultra. So he never sent his S25 Ultra, but he did initiate a return with Samsung because he purchased the phone directly with Samsung and he sent it back to them. And when you send a return or you do a trade-in with Samsung or anyone, maybe except Amazon. Amazon's really good, but anyone else, you should always, always, always film what you do. I have put videos out about this, especially with trade-ins, where from the minute you start boxing that thing up, show that it's reset, show that it's in the condition that you said it is, show it going in the box, show you taping everything up, show you bringing it to the postal agency and handing it off to somebody, show that you got a receipt for it, tracking number, all of that, so that every step of the way from when you had it in your hands to the time you handed it off to the shipping provider, it was in the condition, it was in the box, and everything is said as is with it. And you might even want to put like special marks on the box so everything lines up, maybe like marker marks so that, you know, you can show that you didn't mess with it, or special tape. There's a multitude of things you can go extra above and beyond, but definitely film the process. And this isn't just for Samsung, this is for any company. And with that, when he shipped it off, he received an unexpected email saying your return failed inspection. It says, unfortunately, we were unable to accept the return for the Samsung order because we received an empty box. Please click the video link below that shows how we processed your return. And you can see at the bottom, it says Galaxy Z Fold 7. He paid $900 for it. And before we even talk about the video, he has another email that he received. I don't know if this is before or after, but I'll just read it. Thank you for getting in touch with us. We sincerely apologize for all the inconvenience this may have caused you. We really appreciate your time and patience regarding this. We apologize to inform you that we are unable to help you with returned order refund, as we have received an empty package and there was no product in the box. We highly appreciate your understanding, time, and limitations. Feel free to reach out to us for any inquiries 24/7. When you watch the video, and he said, when I was talking to him, he said that even the way it's taped up doesn't look right. He didn't tape it up like that. And he said when he wrapped the phone up, it was wrapped in basically complete cellophane and wrapped up very nicely. And you can see it's not really wrapped up all that great in there. And when the guy does open I think it's a guy, it looks like a guy's hands. When the guy does open the box, you can see that there's no phone in hand. And it leads to the idea of who's the one lying here? Is it? I mean, I've got to trust what Damien's telling me, saying, you know, because I mean, why would he send off a box and it not be there? I mean, they could just disable the phone if they thought he stole it. So you got to expect he's not the culprit. From there, it's either one of two companies. I don't think it's even Samsung, I'll be honest with you. The company, because they use third-party services. It's got to either be the shipping agent or the company that received the phone. Somebody did something with it though. And it's not the first time this stuff happens. And it happens with I've seen it happen with Samsung with returns and AT&T and trade-ins for AT&T and this company and other companies as well. It doesn't just happen with this one company. So I want to put this verbally out there that I don't think it's Samsung. I don't think they had anything to do with it. I don't think it had to do with the buyer of the phone, Damien. I think it had to do with either the people that he handed it off to, the shipping agency, or the return company that they use, or who knows, it could be somewhere in between that. I don't know. But it's interesting to think that there's somebody in this world that probably took the phone out of the box, taped it back up. It's not the first time. I know one of my friends, another tech creator, went through something very, very similar where I can't remember if his was a trade-in or return, but same thing. He taped it up, moved it. They received the box empty. He looked at the video. He's like, that looks different from the way I did it. And he ended up thinking that it was somebody at the shipping agency that had taken it out of there, because it wasn't the first time it happened to him from there. So be extra, extra careful, guys, with this stuff. Back up your tracks. Take video footage of it. I know it's a pain in the butt. Take photos of stuff. Have all of that. because if you have that, you have a better chance at getting your money refunded or credited back if it's a trade-in or something. So just be extra careful. It could be any company. It's not just this one company. It could be any company. So be safe with it. Today was the announcements of the S25 Fan Edition and also the new Galaxy Tab S11s. They have the S11 and the S11 Ultra, no longer the Plus version. So it's 11-inch and 14.6 inches. So let's first start off with the Ultra and what we're seeing with this. So we'll go through the price and then we'll run through the specs. So first of all, you're looking at prices of $11.99 and $8.59 for the tablets respectively. The Ultra, starting at $11.99, goes all the way up to $14.69. So you can get the 512 for $11.99 and then for basically $1,500 after taxes. You're looking at the 1 terabyte version with the 14.6-inch display. Get it as early as September 9th, which is literally next week. Very, very quickly. You've also can get it in silver. Beyond that, you do have some good trade-ins here. So if you go into like the tablet and you choose a brand, it'll say, hey, I have a Samsung tablet and I want to trade in a Ultra. You can get $800 for that or $700 for a 9 Ultra. If you have a 10 Plus, you get $650 and then so on and so forth. If you're coming from the iPad and you're looking to switch over to a Samsung Galaxy tablet, only $400, pretty crazy. Really, really low prices on that. I feel like they could have done better with that. Apple, I can't remember, 5th generations, I think the newest one as well, and those still sell for really much better off just selling that on your own rather than trading that into Samsung. I don't see any crazy deals going on in terms of like them giving extras or anything like that. If you buy this straight up, it looks like they're giving you an instant $120 in savings. So they're already giving you some money off. But yeah, I don't think you get a discount. You get $100 in Robux and a virtual item. So your purchase will include, so you're getting $100 in Robux, which is, I guess, pretty damn good. 1 year of Good Notes, full version, which if you love to take notes and have an app for that. You also get LumaVision 30-day Creator Pass subscription, which is a paid video editing app. So you get that for 30 days for free. I don't know what their pass subscription includes because I bought the app a long time ago for like $10. They must give you some extra stuff in there. When we compare it to the S11 Ultra and the S10 Ultra, you can see, let's see if we can see any differences. Same display, same resolution. Now it's the same thing. They're both anti-reflective. It's a little less weight, 1.53 pounds versus 1.58. They have the MediaTek 9400 Plus versus the 9300 Plus, so you get a little bit better performance. Same IP68, a little bit bigger battery at 11,600 versus 11,200. Same RAM amounts and storage amounts. You can put a bigger SD card inside, up to 2 terabytes. The connectivity is Wi-Fi 7 on both. Fingerprint sensor. So the last one, it looks like you don't get face recognition on this one, which is kind of weird. Looks like you only get on-screen fingerprint sensor. Quad speakers on both. They just have it written differently. You've got the same camera setup, looks like. Yep. Ports, same rating. The dimensions, it's basically the same exact dimensions. One's Android 16. As for let's see if there's any other specs they're not mentioned in here. I don't think there is because it's comparing it side by side by side. They'd really push out the differences of what those differences would be. But yeah, those aren't huge differences right there. So let's take another look at the S11 next. $859, you can get it in 256, 128, 256, and 512. And it goes up to $860. 11-inch, like I said, you can get it in gray or silver. And trade-ins on this one are, if you have an Apple tablet, probably get basically nothing. Yeah, up to $400 again. And then for a Sammy tablet, you're getting up to $650. If you have a Plus, you get $600. And then we will compare it. We'll go down here and compare this bad boy to the previous gen, the S10 Plus. So Obviously, it's going to have a smaller display because it's just the regular. It's lighter, which is nice. Resolution is about the same. Better processor now. Same IP certification. Smaller battery versus the Plus, but whatever. It's smaller display. 11-inch versus 12.4. I guess you could compare it to that's Tab S9. I don't even want to do that. RAM amounts are the same. You can put a bigger SD card. Wi-Fi 6E on this one. That's weird. They didn't put Wi-Fi 7 on this like they did on the Ultra, which is, I think, kind of weird, but whatever. The dimensions, well, again, it's versus the Plus, so it's smaller. Ports are the same, and Android 16. So not a lot of fun stuff going on with the tablets. So let's take a closer look at the S25 Fan Edition. We'll head over here, and then we'll go over to the Fan Edition, which is right here. And this one starts off at $649. You can get it in 128 or 256, which it's the same price. So giving you the free storage upgrade. Icy blue, black. Let's see. Icy blue's kind of cool. Black, normal, blue, and blue is nice. I like them all. I think I'd go icy blue. I kind of like that icy blue look to it. It's nice. Trade-ins. Whoa, only $200 if you have a Z Fold 6. That's really terrible. What about other phones? I'm probably not going to give you a lot. Yeah, they're not. It's funny they don't give you that much for a Z Fold 6. You're better off trading in your old Fan Edition for $400, or if you have the 23 Fan Edition, you'll get $300. So that's not too terrible. And then, do you get any other extras in here for free? Let's just see if they do that. Your purchase will include 2 months of Lightroom, 50% off LumaFusion, and 6 months of Google AI Pro. That's good. Let's just compare it to the last version of this phone. Bigger battery now, same storage, better processor, it looks like. Same amount of RAM, 5G, same cameras, it looks like. Not a lot of changes on here at all. That's for darn sure. It's a little bit brighter, 1900 nits. One thing I did want to check actually was I want to go back and I want to check out those tablets again, because those tablets, I'm wondering if the 11 comes with the $100 of Robux as well. Yeah, it does. Okay, so it does. So yeah, not terribly exciting, honestly, but if you need a new tablet or want a new tablet, you're a few years old, I'd probably say upgrade. Otherwise, I don't know if you should upgrade. It doesn't seem like, I like to use this phrase, there's not a lot of meat on the bone there. It's, to trade in, it'd be a couple $100 to trade in to get a better processor and $100 in Robux. So at that point, you take another 100 off that. So it's like 150 that's if you play Roblox. But otherwise, there's not a lot of cool stuff going on here. So it's pretty bare bones. You've heard that the Galaxy S26 Ultra is going to be more rounded than the S25 Ultra, and we're getting our first real look at what these renders are going to look like because of Ice Universe, better known as Phone Art now. Whatever, it's his name. Anyways, S25 Ultra on the left, S26 Ultra on the right. And one of the first things that I personally notice about this is, yes, totally more rounded. The roundness makes it feel more playful, makes it look, dare I say, a little bit more modern. Dare I say it looking better? Personal opinion, obviously. I think all three of those things when I see it. I also think that it looks a lot more like an iPhone. I think it looks a lot more like a Pixel phone, and maybe even more so like a Pixel phone on the front anyway, because the Pixel phone has that little camera hole and the iPhone has a notch. So you could say that, but like when you just look at it from the front, man, it looks scarily similar to those two phones right off the bat. But it makes the look of the S25 Ultra, and I hate to say it, looks a little bit dated. And it's a great phone. I mean, that doesn't make it's a bad phone. It's not going to change or make someone want to upgrade, I think, to the S26 Ultra from the 25 Ultra just based off this look of the phone. But it is something to be like, oh, man, they're kind of copying these other companies, but at the same time, they're making it feel like a little bit more playful, a little bit more modern at the same time, at least in my eyes. The other thing I notice is the camera hole being bigger, seemingly on the S26 Ultra versus the S25 Ultra. I don't know if that's just a mess up in his render or it's actually going to be the case. May we see better photos on that front camera with better low light performance because the camera is bigger? Maybe. I'm all down for that. I'm fine with having a slightly bigger camera hole on the front if it improves the photos, improves low light, and does those two things. I'm all for that. I think that would be a great reason to do that. Beyond that, just looking at it though, if you look at it really, really quickly, you might not really notice anything at all. It might be like one of those things you're like, I didn't notice anything. But if you really just look at it for more than 5 seconds, you can see some changes. Like them or not, they're coming to the S26 Ultra. Now, he also made a other render right here showing off this one. And this is showing that the S26 Ultra is slightly, and these are very slight, 0.3 millimeters thicker, wider, I should say, and also taller at about, what is that? 0.6 millimeters thicker, taller. Nothing huge, nothing that you're gonna really grab the air and be like, man, this sucks. This is way too tall and way too wide. You're not gonna say that. You won't really notice anything at all. And when you look at these, honestly, they look so similar. If anything, even though the S26 Ultra is wider, to me, it actually looks a little bit less wide than the S25 Ultra. And it could be because the S25 Ultra has that squared off look to it, whereas this is more curvy around the edges around there. It's more of like a more playful, fun bounce to it. Maybe that's completely why. But if I had to pick which phone that I think looks better, I think you know where I'm going. Based off these renders, also because it has a cool wallpaper on it, I'd probably choose the S26 Ultra based off that play. Now, I know it's going to piss a lot of you guys off saying, man, why do they have to copy Apple? Why did they do this? This pisses me off. I know you're going to say that, and it sucks, but it's what you got to deal with. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, they're seemingly jumping over to that ship. Who knows why? You can tell me in the comments. This one is super interesting as well. This is the, I could be wrong, S26 Edge, which I know it's the S26 Edge in the middle, and the S26 Ultra. Now, you can see he's got that little question mark on there for the S26 Edge. Here is the S25 Edge, and it just has a camera module. But if you look at the S26 Edge, it has a whole squared off camera module with a big open space. Looks like the flash is to the right of the lens, and then that big right space. Like, what are they going to do with that? Are they going to give us some kind of technology we're not thinking of? Is there going to be what? Some kind of sensor? Or is it just for aesthetics looks? If it's just for aesthetic looks, am I bothered by that? Personally, no. But at the same time, I'm thinking like, how can they make that phone thinner and lighter, but still have like a big whole camera thing sticking out on the back? My guess is it's probably going to help with wobble a little bit, because it's, instead of just having like one little piece of this camera that has something that's sticking out, the whole back is probably going to be the same measured piece. So it might have less wobble, maybe it'll have more. I don't know. But it looks like they've kept the other camera modules pretty much the same on the 26 and the 26 Ultra. But that 26 Edge, something's different about it. I didn't see it, and maybe you guys can, if I missed it, these have circles on the back. Does that mean that the phones are going to have MagSafe? I hope they do. I think they did. I don't think I'm mistaken. They used to have magnets in the back of the phones. They removed it to reduce weight and things like that. I would love it if they had it. I already have it in the cases, but sometimes you don't buy a case, or you don't want a case, and you want a case and it doesn't have MagSafe in it. And this would help you with that. You'd still have a magnet built into it. It wouldn't be as strong because the case would be blocking it. But if you go caseless, this is a great reason to be able to go caseless, because then you can put wireless chargers on easier that are magnetic. You can put on a MagSafe pop socket without having to have a special case for it. There's multiple reasons to have it, and I would be so for it. But out of these phones, I'm definitely most excited about the S26 Ultra. I use my 25 Edge a lot for its camera capabilities and video recording and stuff like that. But out of all the S lines, I'm definitely an Ultra boy at heart. We know that the Galaxy S26 Ultra is going to be slightly different looking than the S25 Ultra with its more rounded body versus the S25 Ultra. It's a little bit more square, but still pretty rounded itself. Now, what about the cameras? Are we seeing any major significant changes with the cameras? Because year over year, they're pretty steady in what they're doing, but I have to admit, they are improving this year. Not a ton, but definitely improvement overall. So let's go through a little quick comparison table first of all, and you can see that the S26 and S25 right next to each other with the same megapixels across the board, except now the 3x telephoto on the S26 Ultra is now 12 megapixels over the 10 on the S25 Ultra. Quality-wise, just based off 2 megapixels, probably not a huge change, but obviously it also comes down to different lenses and different, do they update the lens on that overall? And to the right, you can see the key differences with brighter lens, which is equal to better low light with the S26 Ultra. Didn't really change much on that ultra wide at all because they updated that last year. The higher resolution here now on the 3x telephoto, and on the 5x, you're getting a wider aperture and improved low light. Now, to break that down even more, some of the more information that's coming out is that the 200 megapixel is now with a faster 1.4 aperture, estimated to improve light intake by 47% over the S25 Ultra. So photos that need more light, or you get more light, you're going to get better looking photos on the S26 Ultra because the aperture is better now. The ultra wide, likely unchanged, like I said, retains that 50 megapixel sensor. 3x telephoto, the new 12 megapixel sensor, which equates out to 20% more pixels than before. Now the 5x, you're looking at that 50 megapixel with the 2.9 aperture, so roughly 38% more low light intake than previously on the S25 Ultra. So the big takeaway from all of these cameras is necessarily the megapixels haven't changed really at all, if by very small amounts, but what's really changing is that you're going to get better low light performance, which is great because if you think about photos, especially from camera phones, when you don't have a lot of light, sometimes they're kind of loud, meaning like there's a lot of static looking in the image. This will help clear a lot of that stuff up, and you should get a better quality looking image. And I'd be hard pressed to not believe that at the end of the day, that one of the big things about the S26 Ultra versus the previous generation is that the cameras will be improved and people will say, hey, these pictures do look better because of that low light performance. So there you guys go. Not a lot of changes, like I said, on the camera so far, but there are some. Let me know your thoughts on this. We're still months away from this phone launching. It's still about 4 months away from launching. Still a long time, but still good to talk about in case you're thinking about, hey, should I get the 25 Ultra or should I get the 26 Ultra? Grab the 25 Ultra right now if you can, because you'll still get amazing trade-in value. You'll basically be able to trade that thing probably in for almost the same amount of money they're going to pay for it. You'll probably get close to $1,000 for trade-in. So don't sleep on getting an S25 Ultra, trust me. I saw this post on Twitter and I'm like, maybe they have. Has Samsung lost their identity? Have they? Are they just copying other companies at this point and not being their creative, crazy selves like they were in the beginning of all of this? It's a very valid question to ask. And this guy says he's got a whole slew of check marks next to each one of these saying, number one, the S25 Edge is thin to compete with the iPhone Air. But who made it first? I mean, that's a good question, right? Apple removed the iPhone Plus. Samsung is getting rid of the Plus in the 2026, but we'll talk about all these in a minute. S26 Edge rips off the iPhone 17 Pro's design. Remember, they have that big square in the back. The Galaxy Tab S11 series doesn't have a haptic motor anymore, like the iPad. MagSafe. Samsung will now jump on board in 2026. Whatever Apple does, Samsung doesn't hesitate to do. I miss when Samsung was the trailblazer but it no longer is. Man, I want to counteract a couple of these points because I think they can be. S25 Edge is thin to compete with the Air. Both of these phones were more or less announced at the same time. Now, we did hear, if I'm not mistaken, we did hear about the Air first, but the Air still isn't out, and then the Edge just came out of nowhere. So I doubt Samsung just, and months earlier too, the Edge has been out for is going to end up being out, I think, for almost 6 months longer than the Air by the time the Air comes out, maybe even longer than that. So I would say I don't think Samsung's copying iPhone on that mark. I'd be highly surprised if they found out that, hey, Apple's coming out with a thin phone, we're going to immediately just put out a phone, because it still takes a while to make a phone and make sure everything fits inside the components and everything works and all that. I would say that's wrong. Apple removed the iPhone Plus. Samsung is getting rid of the Plus in the 2026. Samsung has been talking about getting rid of the Plus for years, and I've covered it. We've heard rumors they're going to get rid of it, I think, for 2 years or something like that, 3 years. There's been rumors hey, we're getting rid of the Plus, and there's never been well, what is that phone that is going to get rid of the Plus? The Edge is that phone that is getting rid of the Plus. So again, I don't go with that so much, what he's saying. S26 Edge rips off the iPhone 17 Pro design. Well, maybe, but again, the Edge isn't out, but the design of it has obviously been implemented probably for a while now. It's not, new within the last month. I doubt. That design's probably been out there for a while now. So again, I don't think they're ripping them off. Tab S11 series doesn't have a haptic motor anymore like the iPad. Well, let's be fair. Samsung's trying to make everything super thin and light, and a motor of any sort has weight to it and girth. I love that word. Are they copying the iPad? Maybe, maybe not. But I mean, it's kind of their mantra. They're going thinner. Is Apple going thinner with every device? No, I don't think so. MagSafe. Samsung will now jump on board in 2026. I swear, Samsung has had MagSafe before. If I'm not mistaken, it's been in the older phones. Let me just double check. Let's see. Let's see what Google says.
No, Samsung phones do not
okay, maybe they haven't. No, they didn't. I could have swore they had it at one time. Maybe they didn't. But regardless, okay, maybe they're copying them. And Apple, if I remember correctly, was the first company to really publicize magnets in the back and things that they could do with it, from wireless charging to grips and wallets and everything else that you can do with it. Now, does Samsung copy Apple? In some ways, I feel like they might follow them, but Apple also follows Google, and Samsung and Google copies other companies as well. And I think the bigger question is Samsung the trailblazer that they once were? Yes and no. I mean, you look at how things go now, and it's there's not a lot of change in the way that devices look from anybody. Everybody's devices pretty much look the same. From the back of the cameras look a lot of the same. The front looks the same with the pinhole punch. There's a lot of commonality in everyone's devices. So in one aspect, yes, I don't think Samsung is a trailblazer in coming out with all these different designs and trying all these new different features and things like that. But sometimes they are. You look at the folding phone, which came out 7 years ago. They are working on a tri-folding phone. They've had designs for those, mock-ups at CESs and other trade shows, and they've shown those off for years. They haven't released the phone, but they've had designs like that for years. I've been talking about it for probably 5 years or more at this point. Again, they're not the first company to release a tri-folding phone, but they've been working on that stuff. And we always get new leaks and features that they're working on that maybe they don't come out with yet. So yeah, again, I can kind of agree with it, and then I kind of can't agree with it at the same time. They're definitely, obviously, the number one and two biggest manufacturers in the world at almost all times. Them and Apple, them and some Chinese company, them and whoever. So, I mean, there's always going to be commonality. It costs less to be common when you are copying other parts of a device with another company. There's less costs in the fact that you don't have to always be first to market something, but you can work on it and make it better and cheaper. So obviously money is probably one of the biggest things, but also you want people to buy your product. As you see, something like the Apple Vision Pro, which if you haven't used it, is an absolutely amazing product. It's heavy, it's a little uncomfortable sometimes, but it's an amazing product. It looks amazing, it's really fast, it's easy to use, but people aren't buying it. Why? It's expensive, it's probably not comfortable for a lot of people. So being first doesn't always mean that you're gonna knock it out of the park. Apple's probably one of the first companies to show you that. There was a lot of smartphones out before iPhone, but then when the iPhone came out, they nearly perfected it with not the first one, but the second one, the iPhone 3G, was basically perfection on a smartphone. And you can't hate on a company for always being perfect or nearly perfect or making the right decision. Not to say Apple's perfect or Samsung's perfect, but sometimes waiting is the better decision. So kind of my thoughts. I think it's kind of lies somewhere in the middle is the truth rather than being on the left or the right. But what are your thoughts on this? Thanks for watching. Have a great day. We'll see you down the road. Peace.